severe weather.
Harp, as in the thing the angels play.
Right.
Ah.
The one up in Alaska. They can. It's supposed to be a weather manipulation.
I can't remember. What does that stand for?
High altitude.
Oh, okay. I was thinking harp.
High frequency active oral research program.
Yeah.
Insert low-hanging fruit joke here. Oh God.
You know what's really great about that? I was listening to, you hear people talk about HARP and weather control. I was listening to a episode of Star Talk recently where Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about how they can use lasers for lightning farming. Like you can stimulate the clouds to produce lightning in a relatively predictable manner. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and you can seed clouds and things like that, right, to make it rain?
I guess, okay, we're on the air now, officially, so, or whatever that means. So I guess, since we did that, so welcome to the Incredulous Irreligious Cognitive Skeptic Zone Guide Hangout. We're back again after, I don't know how long it's been.
Couple months, I think it said.
Seems like it, yeah. I've been lax in my duties, as has Lauren. I don't know where he disappeared to. I'm pretty sure he's on some secret Canadian mission. Like, I think there's some secret Canadian force that he's part of. So the weather got a little warm and he disappeared.
Well, he invaded Alaska.
Yeah.
Do what?
He invaded Alaska to steal pickup trucks.
Uh-oh, I hear something. The heck?
He also apparently visited a strip club while he was there, so who knows when we're going to see him again.
Where is all that coming from?
Are you getting feedback? So you visited a strip club in Alaska, is that what you're talking about?
What? Tits and glitter where?
Oh God, we're back to that.
Don't ruin it for them. Don't say anything.
All right. I won't demystify it for anyone.
Oh, it's not demystification that's the problem. You have divested certain people of their interest in tits and glitter.
I didn't know what I was doing.
You know not what you do. That's right.
All right, so what's our topic for the day then? Or should we just make fun of, like, New Earth creationism? I don't know.
Could start there.
Well, doesn't it make fun of itself?
Right. What is your topic usually?
It's varied quite a bit. Generally what happens is we have a topic and we start talking about that and then end up talking about anything but that.
What? Tangents?
So
no.
I kind of thought maybe we'd start with no topic and land on one. We'll see how that works.
Do it in reverse.
That's right. We'll filter out this time instead of the opposite.
Well, you've already started with tits conveniently. You may as well run with it.
What's the skeptic take on tits? I'm not sure they exist. No, that's not it.
Take on it right now.
I was looking for an article I read earlier I was going to mention. Now I can't find it.
When did you have time to read anything?
I mean, that's like like 3 minutes between everything I do, so I'm like, quick, read something.
Jesus H, you read, I mean, you do so much in one day. It makes me feel so incredibly lazy.
If it makes you feel better, like around 9 o'clock in the evening, usually I sit down and play video games for hours, so I stay up too late and get up groggy the next morning for work. It's a good life.
And then I bother you all at work and you get stuff done. That's amazing still. Distraction equals productivity. That's crazy talk.
I had the feeling that wouldn't play out very well every day. Well, I don't know where the hell this article went. I was gonna talk about. So anyhow, oh, there it was. Yeah, the thing about the P.Z. Myers accusing Michael Shermer of rape. Like,
I have to find that. Like, post it so I can click on it again.
What the hell is that? I think Rachel, didn't you post that yesterday? Did you share that?
Yes, I did. And I
glance over while I'm listening to you guys.
already know what I thought about it.
Yeah. That whole thing, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of the skeptic community, I guess, that I'm just not. I was never really that aware of the turmoil in, and I'm less versed in it than a large majority of the members of our group. And when the things I read about, I just think, man, what a bunch of petulant shitheads! Like they're just, they are. They're just a bunch of childish assholes.
Oh,
Touche.
definitely.
That was not pointed at anyone here.
I wish that guy that had called her a cunt, I wish he were here.
Oh yeah, that would be brilliant.
Well,
Well, we don't need that kind of conversation on here. I'd just back away.
slowly, yeah.
Who called who a cunt?
Oh, it was. There was a post a while back about when. What was it?
Who was it? I can't think of his name.
It had something to do with that whole. With like P.Z. Myers and Rebecca Watson and somebody else.
Elevator Gate. No, it was about that. It was about him.
Yeah.
It's a non-existent thing that didn't happen, and called her a cunt and like was terrible, among other things. Called her other things too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a bad. It was just a bad discussion. Like, and my whole point in that discussion was, stop being mean to, no hateful speech here. Have a civil discussion. You can believe whatever you want or think whatever you want, but discuss it civilly or
And
go
then
away.
somebody call you the tone police or something like that.
Yeah, more or less.
Tone patrol, just for saying like, don't necessarily have to fling those kind of words at people. Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna pull a funky face here. Oh, my leg hurts.
Yeah, you got in a scrape, huh?
Yeah. Well, that was my right leg, and then now my hamstring's cramping again on my left leg. This is just a bad week for me in cycling. I should just put on like a safety helmet and sit on the sofa so I don't hurt myself.
Yeah. I mean, you already have the helmet, so
I'm waiting to like fall down my stairs on the way outside or something next. I'm good. So, Mike, what's your next topic going to be in your next podcast? Give us a sneak preview.
Sneak preview. I'm wrestling with trying to start the JFK assassination conspiracy.
God, how many episodes will that be?
Oh, God, who knows? I haven't even... I just started pulling my notes together on that one, and I'd say at least 4 or 5.
Yeah,
It's big.
There's a lot in that.
That many episodes devoted to one conspiracy?
Yeah.
I like not like knocking it or anything, just like kind of amazed at the amount of material. I don't know.
For that one, that was such a long-standing one and so public that I think it's easy to have that much material for it.
Yeah, it's one of those that it keeps rebuilding itself, and they go down new rat holes basically as they go along. I mean, I'm going to try to do look at the like the mafia connection, and there's the Cuban connection, and then there's the White House stuff. So it's it goes and it kind of rebuilt. I mean, I guess. Even just recently, there's a Secret Service guy that may have been one of the shooters.
Isn't it kind of an unsinkable rubber ducky, though? I suppose, like all conspiracies.
Pretty much. I mean, all of them have been.
Yeah.
They kind of rebuild themselves, and as new information comes along, everything comes apart.
What did John Gotti say about conspiracies? Something like 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. I just have no faith in people's ability to keep anything under wraps.
Yeah, for me. That's where a lot of conspiracies start to unravel.
Fall apart in their own way.
So you're telling me that X amount of people never said anything about it, huh?
Yeah, kept that juicy of a secret. America's favorite president. No.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, conspiracies do happen, but they're much more like price fixing and things like that. Insider trading. I don't think an assassination is likely something people could keep under wraps.
Well, even with that, I mean, think about it. We just had somebody infiltrate one of Romney's dinners so that we could find out exactly what he thinks about the poor subset of people. and before that, our own president couldn't even keep a blowjob under wraps. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's kind of ridiculous to assume that people can cover that kind of shit up.
Yeah, or Berlusconi, his little parties and stuff. We know all about that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would agree with that unless it's like Russian, unless Putin's killing somebody, because then nobody ever seems to think much of it. It's like Russians may have killed this journalist. They might have killed this journalist. Oh yeah, they might have. It's like that's all the thought you're going to give to that. It's like,
I think it really depends on what people end up latching on to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I keep waiting for the news to come out that someone's offed Edward Snowden.
Oh yeah, I keep thinking he's going to be thrown in a ditch or something after a drone attack. Yeah.
Well, one of the guys at work was like, "Well, they're not. The U.S. won't kill him because then those secrets come out." I'm like, "But think of everybody else in the world that would want to kill him for that. Like, all these other countries would be like, oh wait,
he's in trouble.
Throws egg on America's face. Let's off that guy." I imagine he's probably got some secret detail following him around all the time to keep that from happening. Who knows? Or maybe he doesn't really exist. It's a conspiracy. Run with that, Mike.
There we go.
We just got your next episode.
I just got something there to lose.
He's a catfish who doesn't exist.
I'll make a website and just throw a bunch of fake data up about that so I can be your source. It'll be as credible. It'll be as credible as any of the others, I figure.
That could work. That could be fun too.
I keep saying that, and I don't really ever do it. Is I need to work on my Alex Jones impersonation. So.
Oh my God! Don't get me started.
That guy is a hoot.
It's like Rush Limbaugh. I think, oh, okay, I'm going to listen to somebody whom I disagree with, and then I feel like my head's going to explode, and I can't listen to it.
You're better off with both those guys just to read a transcript rather than try and listen to it.
No,
yeah, I mean,
something
that's
dies a little inside.
It's bad, but listening to them it's like an ice pick in my ear.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's why I don't do it. My sanity is more important to me than my skepticism, apparently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely something dies a little inside every time I hear either one of those. Especially when Rush Limbaugh was going on about that girl, that Fluke girl, Sandra Fluke. I couldn't even listen to the little sound bites they would play. Like, nope. All of a sudden Tourette's, like I'm twitchy and swearing, and no, it was awful. It's not pretty.
You can certainly, you don't have to listen to any of that to still be, a strong-minded skeptic. You don't have to listen to total dribble. There's plenty of I guess what I'd call intellectual middle ground that you can pay attention to, people that you don't agree with that at least aren't just hateful assholes.
Oh my God, misogynistic, so bad.
I'm pretty sure Rush Limbaugh would drop every racial bomb he could on his show if he thought he'd get away with it.
He does quite a bit, actually. I'm surprised.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I'm surprised he still has sponsors. He does say quite a bit of really terrible things. I'm pretty sure he said things like mud people and things like that before.
Mud people. Is that a conspiracy as well, or is that... No, wait, that was just racism. Never mind.
Yeah, that's just flat out like him wanting to drop the N-word and not doing it.
Right.
That sounds like a creature from Skyrim, actually.
I'm going to have to check this out. I'm going to check it out eventually.
Well, you can kiss hundreds of hours goodbye if you do.
Please. Yeah. I'm someone that works 12 days a month. I can kiss all kinds of time goodbye. I have time for things. I have 5 days off right now, for instance. I have 5 whole days off. I can play
so
Never Rest or any of those.
What you need to do is get it on the computer if you've got a computer that's good for gaming. Make sure the computer is next to a bathroom. Make sure you buy yourself beer and chips and a few other things to snack on, because you're going to be there for about 6 hours at a time.
6, that's it? Amateur.
I have a tiny little house, my tiny little dacha. Everything is close to the bathroom. Everything is close to everything else. And as for chips, that's contraband. I wish I had chips. That would be awesome. The diabetes gets in the way of all the good snacking.
All right, well, whatever snacks you're allowed to have as a diabetic.
Boost. I'm allowed to drink Boost. Woo.
Ooh.
Glowsona.
I've the post-apocalyptic kind of version of that kind of game, Fallout, I have played. There's 2 versions of Fallout I've played that I have put in about collectively 1,400 hours between the 2 games over the years. Yeah, I'm totally addicted to Fallout. Like that's nothing. That's just 2 games. Like there's plenty of other games I've played, but I've been a gamer since I was 5, I guess. So I've had plenty of
Super
time
Mario,
for it.
that was my last game. It's the only one I'm anything good at, sort of good at, not even that good at.
My first game was at my grandparents' house. They had the old, you had to like screw the deal into the back of the TV, and it was Pong. Just like two knobs you could turn and a button in the middle. That got me started on a lifelong addiction.
Hi. Do you mind?
And our 5th guest.
Oh,
Probably
he'll
more
tell you his
intelligent things to
opinion.
say than me.
Do you mind?
What a cutie.
Go lay down. He hears me talking to other people, and suddenly he's got to come investigate. He's been spending the rest of the day sleeping in various places. But the minute I start talking, oh, well, that's when I need to get in front of everybody.
That's what I do. I just like walk around the house and be like, oh, this looks like a spot to lay down for a while.
Sleeping Chorky.
You feel neglected, is that what it is? Because I don't hold conversations about this stuff with you? Here. Feed it. There you go.
What kind of dog is that?
He is a Yorkie poo.
Oh, cute. I have a Chihuahua Yorkie. That's the one sleeping next to me.
Yeah, he's a handful. He's like a 2-year-old. Like earlier, I had posted a status because he went running past the bedroom door, and I just saw something in his mouth. No idea what it was. And so I called after him. I said, "What is it?" And you could hear him stop in his tracks as if he were a 2-year-old. And very slowly, he turns his head around the corner of the bedroom so I could see that all he had was his sock monkey. He was perfectly allowed to have it.
Oh, so cute.
His expression was like, oh God, I'm going to get in so much trouble right now.
So cute.
It's like having my own toddler, except he can't talk and whine.
Way better. Way better.
Yes.
Why do people say this is a baby replacement? No. This is an upgrade. This is way better.
And you don't have to pay for it to go to college.
Absolutely not. No
Exactly.
braces, no college. That's right. No back talk. Yeah.
That's right. Well, I don't know. I had a cat he talked all the time, and it was like he was talking back. You'd say something to him, he'd just sit there and meow back at you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a cat that I had to leave at my mother's house when I moved down here, and every time I would come back to visit, he would be on the doorstep waiting for me, ready to tell me exactly how he had been mistreated in my absence.
All lies, though. All lies.
Exactly. That cat got treated better than I did when I left.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so have any of you guys been listening to any new podcasts lately? I'm always checking out new ones, so I ask people, like, what do you listen to? Because I want to know if there's something I'm missing.
No, actually, I forgot to check the 2 Humanist podcasts that you... I meant to thank you for suggesting those 2 podcasts to me, and then forgot to go check them out, and then forgot.
And I can't remember what they are now, so yeah. I'd have to scroll through my history to find it. So.
I started The Scathing Atheist because of cognitive dissonance, and then I don't know if there's been anything else new. Oh yeah, Skeptics with a K, but again, I'm just kind of catching up to stuff everybody else already been listening to.
I love listening to them when they're reading a book of the Bible and talking about it on Scathing Atheist. Oh my god,
yeah,
it cracks
so
me
funny.
it cracks me up.
Yes, and I love it that his name is No Illusions. How funny is that?
I am finally caught up on every episode of Caustic Soda. That has become, if not my favorite, damn near my favorite podcast. I just love that show. So great.
I'll have to look into it.
I think Radiolab might still beat it because, it's Radiolab.
Oh, yeah, Radiolab.
But yeah, Caustic Soda is just awesome and it's so hilarious.
Have you ever listened to Incredulous?
I don't... I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it's one that I downloaded, but I don't know if I ever listened to it or not. I may have downloaded an episode or 2, but I can certainly start if it's worth it.
Yeah, it is. It's
you
on my
need
list.
to, because that is one of the few podcasts that literally made me laugh so hard I almost threw up. I was in the car, falling with laughter, had to pull over, and kept on laughing, and I thought I was going to have to open the door so I could throw up because I just ended up gagging, and I couldn't stop.
Well, I'm sold on that. There was an episode of Caustic Soda. I was driving to the grocery store and stopped at, at left turn light, and one of the guys did his Christopher Walken impersonation, and I don't know why, but it cracked me up. So I was like, I had tears in my eyes, and people next to me were all looking at me funny. I had my windows down. They're all looking at me funny. I was just like, I could not stop laughing. I was just riotous.
Hi.
Incredulous. All right. I bet that's even on the list of our suggested podcasts in the community. We've got a bunch there. I don't think I've listened to all of them.
All right, caustic soda I just added.
Caustic
yeah.
soda is definitely worth it. The other one that I really like, which hasn't been going on for a little while, is Weird Things. That's the other one that made me laugh. Because they're not like a skeptic podcast, but they talk about all kinds of weird science and weird news stories and that kind of thing. So a lot of the same subjects will cross over, but they just bring a different take to it. Not a believer take, just a goofy discussion kind of take on it. Do you mind?
What did you say that was? Weird Things? I guess we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that would make our list of suggested or not, since it's not skeptic-minded.
No, the guy that runs it is, he works for the JREF.
No, it's not on there. I might put it on the list then. I'll add it to it. Why not? I don't even know if anyone ever looks at that list. It's freaking enormous. I tried to find. I remember when I came across Mike's podcast, I was looking really hard for good conspiracy podcasts that weren't, this is what's going on that you're not aware of, because those are easy to find. But the opposing take was so hard to find. I do enjoy. What is it from Stuff You Should Know? Stuff They Don't Want You to Know. I just think it's funny.
Oh, yeah, I started listening to that or watching whatever little videos, and I had to stop because they made it so History Channel.
Yeah, well, what's good about it for me is like it's amusing, but it's really short. What are they, like 5 minutes tops? So I didn't feel like I had to watch a half hour of total crap. It's like, okay, this is over in a minute. But that has spawned between me and some of my friends. That podcast has spawned so many really good jokes.
If you really want to feel your brain pop, Mysterious Universe. Oh my God.
Mysterious Universe.
It's like Rush Limbaugh. Like you can't listen to it. Yeah, you'll die a little inside. I'm telling you, or something will explode. It's they talk about things like the invisible Bigfoot, and there'll be pictures of somebody next to a nothing, and they're like, "This is me and the invisible Bigfoot." It's so funny. And then you get angry, and then you have to turn it off. But yeah, you ever want to feel like, what the fuck? And these people are allowed to breed and vote? Like, yeah, they're Australian. Yeah, terrible. Mysterious Universe. Oh, awful.
Okay, I'm going to note it now. Hang on.
You want to raise your blood pressure. Mysterious Universe. Or feel like there's steam coming out of your ears.
I like it already.
Smoke. What more is there, what more do you want on a podcast than pictures of invisible big feet? Or what's the plural? Big feet? Bigfoots? Big feet.
I don't know why people would go seeking that shit out, because I get enough of that on my Facebook feed that I've had to get rid of. Like, this one woman was giving Bigfoot polls before I realized that she was a believer. So she would ask a question, and she would say, what is the average length of a Bigfoot footprint? And I would get on there and I'd say, why the fuck are you asking these questions? Like, you haven't even established whether or not Bigfoot is real, but you're asking what the average size of a footprint is?
Smaller than God.
What's the average size of a hoax footprint? Like, yeah, she got really mad at me. So I had to delete her.
I work with someone, and I can't help but laugh because I'm so transparent, but she's trying to convince me, trying to get me to watch, what is the one about the mermaids are real? That thing, she wants me to watch that so bad. She thinks I'll be convinced of this thing. And I just Googled it. I was like on my phone, like, look, no, even the people that made it said it's not real. She's like, no, it is. They're really ugly. I'm laughing and she's getting upset. I'm like, yeah, I can't hide that much fucking, like, I can't. That's my reaction. I can't. I can only giggle snort so much, I can't contain it. She wants me to believe in ugly mermaids. I was like, no. If I believe in mermaids, they're going to look like Daryl Hannah and Splash. That's the only ones I want to believe in.
Ugly mermaids. This is another one I've not heard anything about.
Oh, yeah, it's on the History Channel, I think. One of those Discovery type. Yeah.
That kind of
Discovery.
The new evidence.
Speaking of that,
water ape or something like that.
Oh, aquatic ape. That was another one they did. She hasn't said that. Mentioned that yet.
I'm relatively certain my dad's not going to watch this, so I won't feel too bad for saying it. But I've had the discussion with my dad before because he loves watching Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah, that's good for a laugh, isn't it? That guy
Yeah,
Van Doniken or whatever his name is.
Well,
that
no.
guy's a
What's
douche.
not good for a laugh is like the guy that I grew up thinking was my inspiration for rational thinking, for seeking out evidence. It's like, well, you just never know. You can't be too sure. And I was like, oh, Dad, you're killing me. It's like, put some real thought into this aside from what they say on this show. He's like, well, I'm just saying you can't rule anything out.
Why is it always the same expert? Why is it always that Van Doniken guy or whatever his name is? It's always like one guy. It's like this
Because
for a
he's the
real
only
thing.
one
There's-
that really.
See, I don't even know that. Like,
Yeah, there's one promoter. There's one guy. Yeah.
think
Basically, with that show, it was
exactly-
like Ancient Aliens. Oh, what's this about? It's about how aliens might have
Built the pyramids, for instance?
or that, and created our
Seeded
culture,
mankind?
our race. And I was just like,
What's that called? Panspermia or something? Where they seeded our Earth? It's called something ridiculous, like panspermia, something like that, where they seeded our Earth with life.
If it's not, that's what I'm. If it's not, that's what I'm calling it now.
That is.
In defense of that show, I've heard that it is excellent to watch when you're high.
Yeah, I will second that. That's the only way I know anything about it. It's so funny. It doesn't have that infuriating thing that Mysterious Universe has. Mysterious Universe stirs about, like, first joy, then fury.
Have I not heard of this? Panspermia. Sure enough, there it
Oh,
is.
Google that shit. Oh, my God.
Well, I'll be damned. Today I learned.
About panspermia, yeah. Welcome to that
Oh.
world.
Well, there's going to be jokes about that. I'm
Yeah,
not
it
sure
was
how.
all
You were
Hanging fruit.
researching sperm and it had nothing to do with you.
Hey, wait a minute. What? Radio panspermia.
What?
Accidental panspermia.
Premature panspermia? Everybody has that problem at one time or another.
It was supposed to be a millennia later.
All aliens suffer from that at one time or another. It's normal. Don't feel bad
Did you
about
seed
it.
that galaxy with life already? I couldn't. I tried to wait. I got a little anxious. I'm
Intelligent life? Well, I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far. Isn't that Einstein's answer to something about
God,
when you think of
we have
civilization, I think it would be a good
this now.
idea?
We have devolved this into intergalactic dick jokes now. Give ourselves a hand, folks.
Intergalactic dick joke. I mean, it is a theory that is an intergalactic dick
Oh
joke.
well,
It's like,
yeah. You can bet in the next few days I'm going to expand on this for my comic uses. I'm going to use panspermia and intergalactic dick jokes. It's going to happen.
I shall stay tuned.
I don't know how I'll work that out, but that's going to work out somehow.
What was the other thing you were going to try to work into conversation? There was another word. You're like, I'm going to try to use that. I'm going to slip that into conversation. So funny.
I don't remember. In that figure. Oh, I got to stop reading this. This is hilarious. This is supposed to be serious, and this is just so funny. Okay, I'll put it away for now. Sorry.
It's nice to meet you, by the way, Mike and Rachel. Hi. I see your posts.
I invited a number of other people, but I guess not everyone can make it. That does kind of
It's
suck.
not that
like-
popular. They have the time. They have the free time. They just don't want to see you, apparently.
Yeah, well, I never liked them. So
These are recorded, aren't they?
yes, you can actually go back and watch these on YouTube. I think.
Oh no.
I guess it's
please
just on
don't.
my YouTube channel, but nobody,
don't.
nobody looks at my
now
YouTube
you can,
channel.
Now you can put down what you think about everybody in Ink Zone for posterity.
Oh,
Who do I love? I love Elizabeth.
well, I was
She
gonna
gives me
say
passive-aggressive parking job pictures. I fucking love it.
I was gonna say I don't want to do that, but then I really don't have few, if any, really strong opinions about anyone one way or the other. Most of the people in there I either aren't really familiar with or I like. There's only a couple of foul opinions I've come across. So
Elizabeth is great. She's actually a cat. If you look at her picture, she's a cat, but she's great. Regardless, she has amazing.
She's been in a hangout with us before. Yeah,
She's
been
great.
in a
Yeah,
hangout.
in my world, she's famous, Elizabeth. I love the stuff she posts. She gives me all the fun passive-aggressive parking job things that are so funny.
I've thought about ordering some of those, the ones with the crazed ferret on
Yeah,
them.
the funny ferret. Yeah, the crazy ferret thing. Yep.
I worry though around here that people just wouldn't get it. So like I don't understand.
I've lived in Detroit where people park like douchebags because they have fancy, you know, F-150s or fancy whatever cars, and they feel entitled to do the sideways parking thing. And I wish I had that, where they take up 2 spots. I wish I had that like weasel thing to leave on their windshield.
So you
one
guys
Elizabeth
have something
posted.
with like a business card with like animals on them, because the only ones I've seen look like very nice business cards, except in the very center it says "You park like an asshole."
That's funny. Yeah, the animal one is. I can't remember what it says, but it's very
Hang on,
funny.
I got it here. Hang on, I have it saved here.
There's that one, and then there's the one. I don't know if it's a note or what.
Oh shit!
Oh, Michael's here.
Okay, everyone, stop talking. Stop talking about him.
So
Anyway,
anyway,
go back and see this.
so Michael's great, and we're glad he's here now.
He's left the group. Screw it.
Oh, he's like, fuck you guys.
There was one, I think it was handwritten, that said, "If you fuck like you park," something like that. It's so funny. So funny. But that one about being attacked by a weasel or whatever, that's great.
Here it is. I think I found the website for it.
I have it here. I'm trying to. There's a chat here. I'll drop the URL in chat. There we go.
I'm telling you, Detroit is the capital of
Okay.
douchebag parking.
This
Car
isn't-
worship.
This isn't the card, but it is at least one of the sites where you can get stuff like that.
Park like an asshole.
I'm gonna order these. You have now incited some passive aggression in me that has been like, you know, not quite at the surface. It's now there.
My coworkers and I, we'll take breaks and walk around the complex where we work, and sometimes they'll make notes about how people they'll notice how someone parks poorly, and I'm always like, maybe they're just stupid. Like, you know, maybe they had their head up their ass. Maybe they weren't parking like an asshole intentionally. They might just be that clueless.
But you know, the diagonal park is always a douchebag move. Always. It makes me want to key a car, which I would never do, but it makes me want to. Because that's why they're parking like that, to avoid the scratches and shit. Like, nice.
I would only ask, and not to like evoke an emotional response, but why does that actually make you mad? That's something I wonder, is like, why does that make people mad when they see that?
Because why do you think you have the right to take up 2 spots because you have a nice car? That is ridiculous. It's just a sense of entitlement. I think, who the fuck are you? Who do you think you are? You're not that important.
If you do that, you should do it in the back of the parking lot.
Right.
Like, I've got a lot of friends who have nice cars and they don't want them to get hit, so they park in the back of the parking lot where they can take up 2 spaces, because that way no one's going to park next to them and accidentally hit their car. So I'm getting out of my little red Scion that I don't want to mess up. It's not exactly a sports car or anything like that. But,
that's a hot car,
it's
though.
my car. I really like it, right? And so I'm going to be careful about the car, but I was next to a guy in a white BMW convertible, and he literally stood behind his car waiting to see if I was going to accidentally hit it. And that just made me want to hit it more.
See? Exactly. Ridiculous.
He's got to treat, you know, they have this sense of extra entitlement because, ooh, I'm rich enough to buy this extra nice car, so I'm going to treat you like a douchebag even though you didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the Scion. That is a sexy little car. And they only made so many of them, so they're kind of rare.
Are you thinking of the same thing, the Scion?
I don't know what year, but my friend bought one. It was like red, sexy, kind of sporty car. Very roomy inside, even though it looks like a little tiny car, but still it was like very comfortable to drive in. We drove all the way from Detroit to Toronto. It was perfectly comfortable. But it does look like a sports car.
Okay, I've got the one that looks like, it's not, there's the one that looks like the box, and then there are 2 that are like midway between the sports car and the box-looking shape. And I've got the one that is the hatchback, so it doesn't really look like a 4-door car, but it has that kind of size. And at any rate, I don't want to fuck it up any more than he wants to get his stuff fucked up, but still, like, don't treat it. Anyway, now that we're done complaining about that, I'm still looking for those stupid cards because I think you guys will find them hilarious. Oh, here it is.
I love it that it's called youparklikeanasshole.com. That's so funny. I just love that. Somebody actually called up and registered that domain. That's so funny.
Here you go. These business cards, they're amazing.
Oh, let's see. You suck at parking. Leave on her wiper blade business card. Parking, you're doing it wrong. Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Anyway, I actually have to go because I've got to go get ready for a party with the local atheist group.
Oh, have fun.
You godless heathens.
What city are you in?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, cool. I wish I didn't know that existed when I lived closer to there.
Yeah, they're we just had our 10-year anniversary.
Oh.
Are there seven of you now? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, it's just you and one other very bitter person.
There are actually
been in this
hundreds
zone.
of people in the group, apparently, like who join the Facebook group, but only about maybe 50 people that meet up regularly.
That's pretty good, though. That's amazing. That's bigger than the Pittsburgh Secular Freethinkers.
We have here in Oklahoma City, we have there's an atheist group that meets up, and their monthly dinner meetup at this pizza place has now gotten to where you have to get your spot in early, or else you'll be on a waiting list because we fill up half the restaurant easy.
Is that the AOK podcast people?
I'm not aware of them having done a podcast.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the AOK meetup or group.
Well, it may be the same. I didn't know they were doing a podcast, but I think it's probably the same group. Yeah, they're really
AOK. That's a good podcast too. If someone hasn't checked that out before, AOK is a legitimately good podcast. They had on Sean Faircloth recently.
I feel like I'm lax in my duties or something because I haven't. It's like, yeah, I'm even a member of that group and don't even know about their podcast.
Well, it was nice meeting you, Rachel.
See you
Good
guys.
to talk to you again. Take care.
Take care.
All right.
Mike, we're just babbling away. You should say something.
Hey,
just laughing
I'm
at
just
us.
along for the ride.
That's what she said.
Hi-oh.
I have to behave. This isn't being recorded. That is gonna. I need
right.
to filter my speech and
And
not
we
cuss so
actually,
much.
it shows here we have someone viewing us right now. And we have someone actually viewing us. Oh no, you can cuss all you want.
I don't want that retrievable in the future in case one day I'm Madam Justice, Supreme Court, whatever, you know? I have a better chance of being struck by lightning.
Do you recall this? They show
This
you
is
this
kind of
video.
the least of what I've done wrong. Honestly, like, if I'm in contention for that, this is kind of the least of things that I've done.
Well, you could tell us all about the things you've done wrong now, but then...
It's not that interesting.
Well, my point is, like, if you did it now, then it would be public record. You know, it's like, yeah, it's recording on YouTube of everything you said you did wrong.
Yeah, I guess that would make it less potent of a poison for my opponents, though, I guess, if I outed my own dirty laundry.
Well, and if you've ever talked about it on a phone or on the internet or something, the NSA's already got it anyhow, so it's not a big deal.
I've sent
So, Mike, about that whole NSA thing.
Yeah, do tell.
Well, no, my question is, so I have long held the thought that, yeah, those, you know, a lot of the things I hear people talk about, data capture in terms of phone calls, phone records, text messages, emails, I was like, yeah, that's completely plausible, like, in terms of can it be done, and since it's that plausible, it would not surprise me to find out that it is being done. So is it safe to say now that if you were someone who was saying, yeah, the NSA is collecting data about your phone usage and the things you do, that now you're kind of vindicated? Would you agree with that, or?
A little bit.
Because used to be that was just like, man, that's just crazy. They wouldn't do that. You're just way out in left field. There's no way.
I'm just not that important, so I'm not that concerned about it. Like, the stuff I do is not that important. They could have a record of all of it. It would be the most boring detail ever to go through my records and my pictures and my everything.
Sure, it's like, you know, well, that's the thing for me is like, you know, I go to sleep at night. I'm not doing anything wrong, but that doesn't mean I want anyone watching me. You know, like
I wouldn't welcome it.
I make a phone call to one of my friends. I make a phone call to one of my friends. We're not talking about anything that threatens national security or anything, but I still don't want someone uninvited listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff's been going on forever. Even in 41, they were intercepting telegrams coming from Japan, and they were sorting, they'd go through them, and some of them would end up going to Washington for decoding and stuff like that. So, I mean, to pretend that it hasn't been going on, that's, you know, it's ridiculous to think that no one's listened in on anything. But it's like, I don't know about, and like, I don't do anything that I would consider illegal. When I talk to people, I mean, I think I've even seen people put messages, they put like at the end, they'll do at the end of their emails, like fuck Hoover or something like that, that type of stuff.
I don't like Ike, damn it.
Right.
Hoover looked bad, and I'm gonna make my new signature. Hoover looked bad in a dress.
Hey, how do you know? How do you know?
Touche. I don't know. Guessing.
I don't know, but it's like so it's been going on, and apparently, people jokingly put stuff in emails and on the phone about stuff, and I don't see them getting arrested or disappearing or whatever they think that's gonna happen to them. So it's like, I don't think it's a big deal. I
just don't I don't appreciate the gesture, even though I'm not worth investigating. I don't appreciate the gesture at all.
Yeah, that's where I stand on it. I don't think I've ever done anything that begins to threaten national security. But that's me. It's like, I don't like that entire idea is just foul to me. Well, I guess if they listen to the game chat that I have on Xbox Live, we've certainly made lots of terrorist jokes on there. But that's in the middle of a video game, so I guess that's okay. No, I have to worry about that now. So.
They who would trade some security how does that go? They would trade some rights for temporary security deserve neither. Something like that. That's always what I end up yelling at the screen when I hear all this stuff about NSA and people saying like, oh, no big deal, whatever. I just think, or it's for our national security. I just think, no, we've been over this. That was an awesome quote for a reason. We have been over this. The founders knew about that, and they were right to say that they said, to say what they said about it.
I think often, people will say that like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Well, what if suddenly information's released, like things you've said is released? I think a lot of those people will be like, well, hey, wait a minute. Not when it's exposed that they are specifically being watched or listened to, even if it was something innocuous, I think possibly that would give some people a reaction of, hey, that's not cool. But as long as they kind of have that separation, like, okay, maybe this is happening, but they don't connect that to themselves.
Or they think, oh, what a big deal, metadata, who cares? It's just metadata, but yeah, it's not okay that they're collecting it. It's not okay.
I agree.
And it's certainly not okay that my beloved brand names are forking it over. It's not okay. Apple and Google and all these brand names that I love and trust are forking it over. I do a bad enough job of it knowingly on Facebook. They really don't need to do with the Google and the Sprint and all the rest of it.
NSA's involvement or not, it hasn't really been a secret for some years now that Google has amassed data about all of its users.
That's fine. They're not the government. That's where I draw the line, is my government knowing these things about me. Like, I call my friend in Algeria, or he calls me, like, not cool. It's fine with Google. I'm using their service, and I agree to terms of service. Not okay with the government doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay what they do in my name as far as drones go. I mean, don't even get me started on that. Take my tax money and kill an American citizen in a foreign country. Dirty Wars is a good book if you've not read that yet. Excellent, excellent book.
I have not.
I'll have to put it in my Dropbox, which is another company that forked over a whole bunch of information, I'm sure, by now.
I just kind of run with the assumption, and have for, I don't even know how long, for a long time, that anything I've posted on the internet, someone can see. Someone I might not want to see it can see. Just assume that anything you put out in a public domain like that, even if it's supposed to be secure, that somebody's able to look at it.
It's a good rule of thumb, but I'm talking about our government. So I assume the same thing. Like, okay, this could end up anywhere, but our government, that's a whole other category of unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Privately, I assume, of course.
It's almost the same to me, although I guess it's things like some would say you expect to hold, or you hold your government to a higher standard. I'd like to, but I don't have that expectation of that higher standard, so that's not really the same concern for me. Like, the government is a body that's people that are, to some extent or another, like me or anyone else. So it's extremely fallible, and it's certainly not altruistic by any means.
But we shouldn't take it lying down, even though we assume this thing is happening. Should not take it lying down. The fact that people are like, nothing to hide, like, that's not the right answer to that, to finding out that we're being violated like that.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
I had something else a second ago and I just lost it. Totally derailed. Man, I can't get it back. Oh well. Anyway. It'll come back later when it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
You're drifting asleep, or
No,
it wouldn't be a show if you didn't forget something.
That's true. God, it happens every time, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
I have too much on my plate, and I don't really.
Panspermia.
I always tell myself I should just make notes beforehand because here's some things I want to talk about, or we should go over.
Talking points.
I tell myself every time, like, I'm going to do that, and I never do. Like, I get in the middle of the hangout, and I'm like, oh, I should have done that this time. I'll do it next time. No, I won't. I'm telling you now, I'll do it next time, but no, I won't. I mean, well, it won't happen. That's right. I guess at least you get that.
What are your thoughts on drones? The fact that we, meaning like Americans, have killed an American who wasn't charged with anything or arrested or in trouble of any kind in another country, and his son, Alaki, and his son, and his teenage son, who was like all of 17? He wasn't even old enough to sign a cell phone contract in this country, and he was gunned down by a drone.
I have two thoughts on that. One, that because you reminded me of what I was going to say earlier when you said that about drones was, well, here we pay for these drone programs, and they can't even take care of asshole parkers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what is Hellfire for if not fixing the asshole parking situation? That's right.
That's what was so goddamn important a minute ago that I couldn't remember. It was some stupid joke about parking. I had to bring it back.
That's right.
My thoughts on that otherwise?
Did somebody join us?
Trying to.
Michael's trying to join us again. There he is. What's up, Michael? We're not talking bad about you.
Not
as far
yet.
As you know.
Yeah.
Not again.
My thoughts on that are kind of like with the whole data retention thing is, to me, it's not really anything new. It's not something I approve of, but it's just another form of the same kind of tactics that's been going on for long since before I was born. That doesn't excuse it, and that's not to minimize it. Like, I'm not saying, oh, whatever, it just happens. Like, I'm very much opposed to that.
17-year-old. Have you seen the 17-year-old recently? I mean, this guy was a child. This guy was not even involved in terrorism. He wasn't even involved, like, militant with his dad or whatever. No, this guy was like a hip-hop loving, Facebook loving 17-year-old American.
It appalls me that, so many people.
We gunned him down without charging him even. He wasn't even, like, there's no parking ticket. There's nothing to point to, like, oh, this guy's a bad guy. Like, there's none of that even. They don't even pretend, like, oh, yeah, he was actually, XYZ. There's none of that even. They said what was the joke about, like, oh, you should pick better parents. That was the governmental response. Like, pick better parents? What? That's not funny, asshole. That's not funny at all.
Yeah, it's pretty ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a congressman or senate or someone important with the title. Like, oh, my God, that is not an answer. 17. Like, look at 17 next time you go out. Like, that is awful young.
I have a hard time looking at 17 because I'm like, oh, God, that's just so annoying. Would you just be quiet?
Yeah, and think they don't deserve to be droned, though, with their buddies or not with their buddies. And his buddies didn't do anything either. The people we don't know their names, those guys weren't involved in terrorism either. Those guys were like little tiny Yemeni people minding their own business.
Did you just say the Yemeni people are tiny?
Yeah, they are. They're really, like, diminutive. Yeah, little tiny. I guarantee you these guys were not more than 5'6".
Munchkins? What's up with that?
Yeah, other than Bin Laden, he was an exception, but mostly they're tiny little cute people. Yeah.
John, are you going to Willy Wonka on us here?
Do what?
Are you going to Willy Wonka on us here?
I thought that's where she was going.
Little people.
Or that, or Wizard of Oz. You're among the little people now.
Yeah, nice.
I heard the Lollipop Guild has been really militarized lately. So.
I would call them militant, at least. Yeah, militant, radical. One might say.
Radical Lollipop Guild.
Radical and recruitment efforts.
They will leave the sugar out of your candy. How do you like that?
Well, the Keebler
Welcome
elves.
to my world. Was that a diabetes joke?
No.
I can't believe you would say such a thing. Is that a fact? What are you saying?
I'm doing my best Wilford Brimley impersonation right now. So.
Diabetes. What is
Diabetes.
he saying?
Diabetes.
Diabetes. That's
Diabetes. That's good. That's
it
good.
makes it worth having when he says diabetes. Yeah. Makes it worth having. Makes this sting a little bit less. Thank you.
I was not making diabetes jokes.
Leave the sugar out. What kind of blasphemous, terrible thing for a pastry chef to say nonetheless?
Well, that's the thing is, like, I was trying to think of, like, what would militant keep
Well,
their
pretty
elves
heavy
do,
in their
like,
recruitment.
like
They have
Lollipop
quotas.
Guild. I mean, like, what would they do exactly? Like, what? We'll make
Well,
your gum.
you know-
We'll make your gum not chewable.
Dorothy just arrived there, and they already got her to drive the house on somebody, and then do what they said. So
Talk about terrorists. See? Their problem is their influence. They're like a Lockie. He wasn't actually, like, literally violent. He was just influencing people in a way that was uncomfortable.
right.
Yeah. So much for free speech. Yet another American, actually not really charges anything, but, droned nonetheless.
All I'm saying is Dorothy did a really poor job of taking responsibility for any of her actions in that story.
And you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
I blame
When I
you
see you
all.
guys at
I
camp
took
one day,
responsibility.
you were there, and you were there. I know them from Hangouts. You were there.
So, Michael, tell us what's new, man. Or give us a topic. We've been topic hopping. You missed the
I missed the creationism talk.
intergalactic
We
dick
barely
jokes.
touched it. Do you know about panspermia? I could catch you up on panspermia if you don't know about
Yeah,
that.
What about Panovaria? Whatever happened to that? Let's have
I never thought about that. It is kind of a sexist idea. You're right.
What is it again?
Panspermia versus Panovaria.
Yeah, they left the ova completely out of the discussion. You're right. I hadn't even been mad about that yet.
No, I just gave you something else to be
Give
mad
me
about.
new stuff to be mad
Awesome.
about. That's what I want. I don't want to solve my problems. I want different problems. That's all I want.
I never heard of these things before today.
Really?
I'm just a fucking ignorant okie. Apparently, I'm like, wow, panspermia is like, this was the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. So I Google it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a thing.
Yeah, like the D. It's a real thing that people say. Now you know. Now whenever there's a joke about it and you didn't get it, now you do. Yeah.
Oh,
I
don't
didn't know
ask.
the D.
Does that mean I'm going to
I
have to do a
didn't know that was a
podcast to
joke.
teaching people?
I didn't know that was a real thing, and I was talking about living in Detroit, and I was saying things like, I love the D, and
It's
he was
so
laughing
cold
his
in the
ass
D.
off. Yeah, it is so cold in the D. Totally. See, you understand. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that was a thing, and I was trying to tell him, like, that's not a thing that people say, and he's sending me all
So-
these clips and shit.
So you're in Detroit. Are you okay with all the roving bands of marauding like
I
raiders?
am not in Detroit, and I
Oh.
remotely disagree that that's even real. Like, that's not real. That shit's not happening there. Those people are very resilient, and whatever bad thing people have to say about them, I just automatically no. Just no. Absolutely not. No. I
Yeah,
love
I'm
it there.
I'm in Detroit too, so
I was.
I'm south. I work in Detroit, and I'm in a hotel south of Detroit.
Oh, wow. I lived south of Detroit. I
Southwest.
lived in Southgate. I lived in Lincoln Park, downriver, like where all the Polish people are, Wyandotte. That was my stomping ground.
I'm in the Holiday Inn in Southgate.
Oh, my God. That's right near where I used to live, Holiday Inn. That's probably the nicest part of Southgate right there.
Cool.
Detroit.
I mean, it's
From
not
Michigan,
bad.
too, so,
Well, the
yeah.
Renaissance Center is better than that. But I'm from northern Michigan. I'm from Cadillac.
I'm from Midland.
Oh, wow. So you're familiar with Cadillac. You have
Yeah.
this ice rink in your town,
Yeah.
which everybody worships. That's like one of the things they worship, hockey and football.
Yeah, well,
And
we got.
guns.
oh, yeah.
There
We
are
got
three,
meat and
hockey,
cattle
football,
where
and
I'm from.
guns. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have the exposure to the gun element, so.
Oh, I'm a full-blown gun nut. Yes, gun nut.
My method of defense is a golf club that I keep next to my computer desk, so.
I live alone. I'm going to be acquiring a Glock very soon. Very, very soon.
G-Lock and the special sauce.
That was a good book. There's another good book, Glock, The Rise of the American Gun. Good book.
Haven't heard that.
Yeah, very good book.
There was a discussion the other day that John Ellis posted something that, like in response to something they'd said on the last Cognitive Dissonance episode. He was saying that concealed carry licenses, like states that allow concealed carrying, have lower violent crime rates than not, and that there was a marked difference in like that legislation being passed and the crime rate reducing.
That may be, but you can't draw the causal arrow. Sorry.
That's what I didn't argue. I just said that I was unconvinced in that correlation isn't causation. I didn't see any kind of data that really spoke to that.
Because there are other states that have where you have the opposite, where you have to have your gun out. You have to be showing at all times. And I wonder what the crime rates are in those states.
In the open carry, yeah.
I think it's Texas that has that. So you drive around and you see people like with their gun on their dash. In Michigan, that's not allowed.
Texas has concealed carry now.
Texas is kind of its own place.
It's kind of its own foreign fucking shameful country, actually. Yeah. God forbid you need an abortion there or any kind of like pre-cancer screening and all of that, female screening.
I'm half convinced that somebody invented a time machine and just surrounded Texas with it.
Mm-hmm. Some kind of Dyson sphere of reality, yeah.
It's so weird because, like, I have lots of friends in Texas, and visiting Texas, you don't really get any of that impression.
Really?
Yeah, like, really don't. Like, go to Dallas. I mean, I go hang with my friends in Dallas, and
doesn't it have the most titty bars of anywhere in the world, or something per capita? Something about the most topless bars of anywhere.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I have heard that. Either Dallas or
Houston.
Houston.
Too, all along the highway to the airport or something. So there's a whole
also,
bunch of
welcome
bars.
to Detroit. Also, on the way to the airport. Also, welcome to the gentlemen's clubs, as it were.
Strip clubs at the D.
You can enjoy tits in the D, but you can't enjoy a cigarette while you're watching the tits in the D. But you can watch the tits at like 7 in the morning because of when the people get off work at the factory. Like, yeah, you can have a beer and some glittery tits at like 7 in the morning, no problem. But if you want to smoke, yeah, you need to go outside for that. That's totally unacceptable. You can't smoke anywhere, not even Windsor at the titty bar. You can't smoke there either. You have to go outside, and it's like 40 below. No problem. Go outside.
Hey John, if you really want to get the Texas experience, you got to go to Lubbock sometime.
I have, as I had a friend that lived there, and as he called it, the armpit of America. And yes, I have been there to Lubbock, and
lovely.
It is kind of. I wouldn't call it the armpit of America. I've been to places worse than that. I've been to a couple of places in Kansas that were worse than that.
I've been to the Corn Palace.
Were you smoking meth at the time?
I was not, but
you should have been.
I would imagine it was probably nearby.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
I was going to say one of the points I made about that whole the gun carrying issue was that violent crime has been on the decline for 30 plus years here in America. So I would find it hard to.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
What did oh my gosh, Bill Maher called him something funny when he was first elected. I laughed so hard. It was like Chocolate Jesus or something. It was so funny. Thank you, Chocolate Jesus.
I try to make that thanks Obama joke, and people around here just don't get it. They think I'm actually like oh, look, that car crash. Thanks, Obama. And like, yeah, isn't he an asshole?
He causes everything. Oh, yeah.
No, that's a joke. Never mind. Just
Sharknado. If there ever was a Sharknado, that would be his purview right there.
Sharknado.
Yep. If there ever was, that would be his purview. That would be his doing, I promise.
The Gopher Cane.
Oh, my God. Oh, what if it started raining honey badgers? Oh, my God, I'd be so scared. I'm so scared of honey badgers. I don't even know where they live. Terrifying.
You're okay, but snakes. Gotta watch out.
Oh, garter snakes and honey badgers, the two most terrifying things in the world. And I'm from a state that has water
pretty much harmless.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they like you to believe.
You know the truth behind the lies.
I know the truth about garter snakes.
The establishment's keeping the truth hidden.
Raised in a place, the garter snake lobby would like you to believe that.
Mike, write this one down.
Yeah. It's all going right in here.
This is going to go
sitting in prime territory for blue racers.
Podcast.
Actually, Midland is better for your blue racers. I was trying to tell John about blue racers, how they'll chase you, and it's the scariest thing ever. Oh my God, those things are nightmares.
I never really saw them when I lived there, but I was like in the suburby kind of area.
Yeah, if you went camping, any wood pile, they're wound up like a garden hose, and they're about that size, and they give chase. They're so terrifying. They're harmless theoretically, but I mean, just the fact that they're chasing you is so scary.
I would be so amused by that. I'd be like, oh, look, it's vicious.
No, and when you
tell
stop,
when
it'll
it's
coil up
following
your
you.
leg. When you stop, it goes do-do-do-do-do right up your leg.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, no,
That is awesome.
No,
You can tell them
no.
apart from their closely related snakes because when they come after you, they're shouting, "Bitch, where's my money? Where's my money?"
Bitch better have my money. Those are the ones that actually live in the D that talk like that.
God, it's a loan shark without legs.
Yeah, if there was ever like a garter snake NATO, I would be hiding under my bed. I promise you. So
I got
scary.
Cane.
I had a little baby Burmese python bite me once. I mean, it was a little tiny thing, like maybe not even a foot long. It was a little tiny thing, and it was the most vicious little thing I've ever seen. I was like, oh, it's cute. It's all mad. And I just put my hand on the top of the cage, and it struck out across that cage and nipped my thumb. And I was like,
I would
God.
be stuck to the ceiling, like just. Oh my God, terrifying.
Well, I was warned beforehand. The lady there at the pet store was like, "Yeah,
That
this
doesn't
one's got a." She's like, "This one's got a temper." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, I knew it wasn't gonna hurt if it bit. I was like, "Okay," and I was
That
like,
is
"I'll be
not.
damned."
No.
It sure did, man. That was the most vicious little thing. I've watched plenty of videos on National Geographic before of like cobras eating something, and they didn't seem as vicious as this little thing did. I was like, "This is the most pissed off little tiny
It's
thing I've ever seen."
Napoleonic. It's like, is that a size joke? Is that a size joke? Are you not afraid of me? Is that a size thing? I'll show you.
I don't care how big you are. I will take you down, sucker.
Bring it. I will cut you. Bring it. That's all the snakes talk in my head. That's how they sound, all of them. Even the garter snakes. I will cut you.
This is the most intellectual discussion we've ever had on here.
I'm sorry, I've derailed your otherwise skeptical, beautiful podcast.
No, it's fine. I derailed it plenty myself. Like
Panspermia.
you said panspermia, and I started making dick jokes, and so yeah,
It's over now. It can never be re-railed. You can only derail, you can never re-rail, right?
I can try, but yeah, it's only gonna go so far. Okay, so Mike, we were saying, or Michael, we were
So
asking
where are you
earlier.
now? Wait, you were in Midland. Where are you now? I'm sorry, where are you now?
I'm in upstate New York now.
Oh, okay.
So, way.
Ambassador to Zimbabwe, nice.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I see this little flag. Like, where are you again?
Lies.
All lies.
He's in an
It's a
undisclosed
conspiracy.
location
Stop
right now.
being so skeptical.
I love how
Hangout.
I love how the term skeptical is used for like I just don't believe anything. Like I'm skeptical of that. What do you mean exactly? Like
I
does
don't
that mean
believe
you're-
in the
does that mean you're
nutrition
looking for
theory
the
of
evidence?
growth.
No, I think it's crap. That's not skeptical. That's just being a closed-minded dick.
Yeah. I like it when they say, so you're an atheist, you don't believe in anything? I was like, okay, well, I can list stuff like neutrinos and gravity and love and poetry. Like, what do you mean I don't believe in anything? What does that mean?
But God is everything, so if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in nothing.
No access to poetry, love, like the fact that I tan well in a high-pressure
You're
bed. Like, I believe a whole
spiritually
bunch of
dead.
stuff.
You are spiritually dead.
My coworkers, there's a couple of them who don't believe me. I say I'm an atheist, and they go, "No, you're not." Like I've just said, I'm a baby eater. They're like, "No, you're not." Like that. Yeah,
One of
you're
my
way too
coworkers
nice of a
told me
person
that.
to be an atheist. Like, no, not at all. Actually, not at all. Just to please don't ever check out my Twitter. A couple of the coworkers started following my Twitter. I was like, okay, Facebook, that is my nice, normal, like, there's myself. It's a reasonable representation of myself if you meet me. But my Twitter is the smarmy, shitty, rude things I say under my breath. Like, please don't subscribe to that. You're going to have a whole different opinion once you start reading that, because Twitter is much more no holds barred. You'd be surprised how offensive I can be in 140 characters or less.
That sounded like a challenge to me right there.
Yeah, it is. Throw down the gauntlet, Twitter. I can be rude in 140. I can be smarmy and shitty and mean. Yeah.
Can I piss everyone off?
Yeah, everyone I
in
work with.
20
Yeah.
letters.
Pretty much have. Yeah, pretty much have. People I work with, and I'm like, you were warned. You were warned not to go to the Twitter. Or the Instagram. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
I originally had my real name on my Twitter account, and I very quickly took it off of there because of the sort of things I was posting on there.
See? I need to do that. That's a good idea.
It's still hiding there in the Google cache of it, Google snapshot from way back when.
But my people don't know how to go. They're not that techie. They're not going to know how to find that.
I have
That's a good
3
idea.
Twitter accounts. One of them is my name. Another one is my strictly associated with my gaming group, so it's my gamer tag, and the other is the other is a trolling account specifically for this software vendor that we use. We were told, the developers were told, you're going to use this particular workflow software, and it's just beyond terrible. It's so horrid. So I created an account just to talk shit about them.
Just to be passive aggressive, Dick. That's funny.
Well, you know, yeah, that's it. Passive aggressive Twitter. I can't argue with that.
Love
That's
it.
all
Love it. That's all mine is.
Kind of the nature of Twitter.
Well, they tell us things. They tell us things like, "Yes, we're aware that's a problem." Okay, great. When can we expect a fix? We're not fixing that.
I'm going to try that.
Seriously?
Next time somebody points out something to me, I'm going to say, I am aware that's a problem. Oh, fixing it? Not never. Not never.
We have been made aware of the problem.
Their software, like, sometimes it'll cause certain errors, and so instead of giving you an error message back that tells you, like, hey, something went wrong, it just swallows the error. It doesn't even tell you that anything went wrong. It just
What is that error message that you posted
like
about? There will be an intern saying passive-aggressive things, and I was thinking, oh, that was hysterical. I love that.
Sounds like something I would write.
Poor Mike, we're just babbling away, and he sits there so sweetly and silently, and he's probably, like, of the more interesting people, definitely more interesting than I am.
More material. It's more material.
I'm waiting to hear any of this on your podcast.
Oh my God! You're welcome.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
The intergalactic dick conspiracy.
The conspiracy
You know
of
who you
garter
are.
snakes, the garter snake association that we think you're in bed with. Everybody's like, oh, they're harmless. Yeah, that's what everybody says. They say the exact same words. You think that's a coincidence? I don't.
Snakes are secretly mind-controlling evil reptoid babies from...
Absolutely.
women.
Oh,
And
what are
don't get
those
them
people called? What are
And
those
don't get
people
them on a
called?
plane. Don't get them on a plane.
Oh, Snake! I haven't seen that
The
movie. I think the
reptoids?
title says it
You
all.
don't have. Yeah, you don't have to see that movie to know how that movie. You know everything
people
about
who,
that movie. When you saw the title of the movie, you knew everything about it right then.
Are you thinking of the Nephilim?
The people who think that the people in charge, like the government officials, are all secretly reptiles, like is it David Icke or is it whatever
David
that
Icke,
guy's?
yeah.
Who
Oh,
thinks
man, that
everybody's a
guy's-
reptile.
that
I
guy is
was
a-
like, I hope that's true. I hope that's true. That would be so interesting if that were true. I want that to be true. I want all the crazy shit to be true. It would make reality so much more interesting.
Reptilians.
Yeah, if you secretly believe everyone in charge, like at a certain angle, if you see them, they're actually reptilian. Yeah, it's really funny stuff. What book was that in that I read? What's his name? British guy who writes about like them. He wrote Them, and he wrote Out to Sea. Oh, jeez.
That would be... I have no idea.
If I could even look at anyway, he wrote Them.
I'm trying
That
to
guy.
Google it.
He talks about the very funny neurotic British guy, and he talks about the conspiracy theorists and all the kind of weirdos, different groups of weirdos in our society, and it was a very good book actually. Them.
Any of you know when did David Icke first start that whole thing? When did?
And
70s,
Out
60s,
to
70s.
Sea.
Okay, so I was gonna say I thought before because I didn't know much about him. There's that old movie in the '80s called They Live.
Yeah.
Rowdy
Rowdy
Piper.
Piper.
Yeah, he had
I
the
never saw it. What is it?
The 15-minute long
They
fight
really
scene or
look
whatever
like-
it is.
I always thought, what is this whole reptilian thing just like a take on that? Maybe that's the reverse. Maybe that was like a take on David Icke's thing. So
I think it's.
if you haven't seen it, you really haven't missed anything. Don't go
I
looking
haven't.
for it. Yeah.
No, I'm not
don't
going to
waste
go
your
looking
time.
for it. I
I can give you a summary in about 3 minutes, and you will know the whole movie then. So.
Are there snakes on the motherfucking plane?
Well, the old professional wrestler Rowdy Piper, he is the main star. That tells you a lot.
That is enough said. You should go no further. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a drink. Hold on.
I think he's still floating around though.
Is he?
Piper? I thought I saw him on something not too long ago.
I'm quickly skimming through the David Icke Wikipedia page here, and it looks like his whole reptilian thing is kind of a half obscured anti-Semitic spin on things. Like all these people who he used to say were the global elite, or like the Rothschilds and a whole bunch of big Jewish families or whatever, and he used to draw political cartoons with them depicted as reptilian people.
Yeah.
That's what it's really all is the Jews are running everything, but he's making them reptiles instead of Jews.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's him.
Okay, so Michael, we were talking earlier about new podcasts or favorite podcasts that we listen to. Have you listen to any new podcasts or anything that's your favorite? Like, I'm always looking for new input. So.
Yeah, there's a few that I've been listening to. I don't know how actually new they are, but they're new to me. There's one called Philosophize This, which is a guy who's started going through like a history of philosophy, starting back in the pre-Socratic era and just slowly moving forward and giving a summary of history of philosophy, and that's kind of good. He's about 7 episodes into that one. And what's another one? I've just started listening to The Scathing Atheist, which is very much a not religious-friendly podcast.
Yeah, we were talking about that. That is. I was saying when they talk about, they read a book from the Bible each week, where they start doing that, like, oh my God, that is so funny. Their take on it. And what's funny is, like, I've had that discussion with people before, with my parents even. Like, have you, Mike? Because they'll both talk about. They're not super religious by any means, but in their search for what they believe in, they both express that they were troubled that I just refused to believe in anything, and I try to explain it's not a refusal to believe, it's just a lack of evidence for me to believe in anything. And then we got onto the topic of the Bible, and I'm just like, are you aware of all the horrible shit that goes on in that book? And
no.
Yeah, it's like everything that you think is immoral, pretty much at some point in that book, God said for someone to do it. Like,
yeah. And my parents are the same. They've never read it all the way through. And I have, and funny how that works. There.
Oh, who was it? Isaac Asimov that said something to not verbatim, but he said something to the effect of the best. What's it like? The most compelling evidence for atheism is the Bible itself.
Yeah, properly read, the Bible is the most potent force for atheism ever conceived.
Yes, that's it.
I did the Googles. Yeah. And it tends to be true with a lot of the people that I know who are atheists here, at least. I don't know about the rest of the country or the rest of the world, but there are people who have read it and taken it seriously rather than just dismissing everything as it's out of context or it's a metaphor. I love that when I get people telling me that the story of Noah's flood or the Amalekites being slaughtered by the Israelites, they're metaphors, and they don't ever say what they're metaphors for.
Right.
They're metaphors.
Well, then, and you get that, but then you also get like, oh, well, you're supposed to. It says to do this. Well, how's that not a metaphor? But this other is like, oh, this other one's distasteful to you, so that's a metaphor. But this you think is an okay thing, so that you.
Well, this one is obviously written as poetry. Some people believe it's not.
That's the truth too. It's like not everyone thinks that's the case.
It sounds like you got into a topic. What is it? Sounds legitimate.
The Holy Babel.
The Holy Babel. My favorite things are things like the stoning unruly children. I'm like, bring it back. If you're going to bring it back, bring it all back. Bring it all back. Stone unruly children. I'm all about that. I don't have kids. I find a lot of kids fucking annoying, and I think, bring it. Stone unruly children. Let's start there. Mixed fabrics, stoning unruly children. I'll sign up for that. I don't even have to
like shrimp. I can't
I
do
do
that.
like shrimp, but stoning unruly children, you would never have a movie ruined ever again. Well, don't watch it in the D. But I mean, if you're outside of Detroit, you can watch a movie and it will be ruined by children. So I think, let me start there. Also, let me read the Bible to your children. I want to be allowed to do that. I think Matt Dillahunty really nailed something when he said, I want to read selected parts to children. Like, yes, let's, please.
And
they should know what's in their book.
Increased her whoring after her lovers whose genitals were the size of horses and
donkeys
issues were the size of donkeys or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Let me read it to little children. What does that mean? I like begat. When I was little, I was like, what does begat mean? Like, give me the begats again. That was hot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Put on some Barry White or some Marvin Gaye and start talking about begatting.
That's right, begat. And I like it when they begat incest style, because we started with Adam and Eve. How did we end up with a diverse population?
Yeah.
Brown chicken, brown cow, like incest.
Brown chicken, brown cow. Wow.
Brown chicken, brown cow. That's what it always sounds like,
There was another podcast I was listening to. They mentioned it on Cognitive Dissonance. It's the Thomas in the Bible.
Oh my God! I had to stop listening to that. It made me suicidal. I stopped listening when the one guy let his. Was it wife or whatever? Yeah, or concubine be gang raped by the people that came. It wasn't the one about Lot. That was a different gang rape.
Oh, it's a different one. Oh.
It was the one, not Lot. No, it was definitely a different guy.
The other gang rape.
Because Lot, that was his daughter.
Yeah, Lot, that was his daughter's. But this one was giving away his concubine to the hordes, and she was raped to death. Her corpse was on their the front of their stoop. Oh my God! I had to stop listening for a while. I'm like, you know what? I have to I just got to take a break from that. That's a little much. Raped to death. Oh my God.
Just a couple weeks ago, I used that example.
Infallible, perfect word of God.
Mm-hmm.
I used the story of Lot giving up his daughter to be gang raped rather than angels. It's like this is morality apparently. Like
yeah, this is good because Lot is considered good. Lot is in good standing with God.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
There's 2 of him.
The other will fall away here in a second.
Okay, I thought maybe he cloned himself.
Google will eat it. The extra image.
His doppelganger's here. Holy
I was gonna say
shit.
your doppelganger.
He's the one with the Skeptics conspiracy podcast.
I think he has a teleporter, and he's proving to us that you can duplicate a person using.
I think he's just shilling for the man.
Never mind.
That's what it is.
Well, you're in the pocket of the garter snake conspiracy, like that whole thing.
Big garter snake.
Big garter snake. You're getting a check from Big Garter Snake.
I wish. Are they listening? I will give you my address. Shit.
No, they're terrifying.
Can I get a
Everyone
check?
knows that. Don't say harmless.
Do they do direct deposit? Like,
terrifying.
In your face.
That's right.
Your face.
I'll take traveler's checks. Anything. Just pay me out.
Traveler's checks. That's not even real
Deposit your
money.
teeth into your face.
They're dangerous. Everybody knows that.
Don't give in to the lie. Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple. Oh, I love that. That's the way to get me to buy into anything. If you start the post with "Wake up, sheeple," I am definitely going to be on your side by the end of it. That is some good
Wake up,
writing.
sheeple.
Also, my ears will perk up as I start laughing. That's for sure.
Like a dog, I just go, what? I wish I had perkable ears, because, yeah, wake up, sheeple, that definitely is...
Well, we'll get those genetic modified people to work on that for you. Get some pointy, perky ears.
I think there's a Japanese company that makes them, supposed to be in response to your emotions that
little
do that.
cat ear things?
Yeah, little cat ear.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I could pull that off. I don't know. Rebecca Watson was right when she said that's kind of like cute, like little Japanese girl cute. Like probably we could not pull that off.
Yeah, I get the feeling somebody would buy that and wear it for about a week, and then it would sit in a closet somewhere.
I would wear it for all of TAM. If somebody sponsors me one, I will wear it for all of TAM, guaranteed. Yep. Only I'm so transparent. You don't really need ears to see how I feel about something.
When you wear those ears, though, it's a requirement that you make the little annoying Japanese girl sounds like.
Oh, I was just gonna giggle stereotypically. Yeah.
I think I'm the one person in the skeptical community that I know of that just has zero interest in TAM. Like,
I want to go.
I've never been able to afford it. So
my deal is, well, I guess for me, and I'm not saying it is. I question whether or not it's just. I have this impression like, okay, so here's these people that speak out, or sorry, these popular figureheads in the skeptic community. First of all, the ones that argue and fight with each other, and then there's some other ones like. Yeah, I like Penn Jillette and some of the things he says, but he's kind of a dick. So I'm just kind of afraid that it's going to be a bunch of dickheads that some we're smarter than the rest of the world circle jerk, and I'm like, that's just so not me.
The circle jerk is an extra $50. Brandy is silent all of a sudden.
She's over there wanting to cuss me, I bet.
Click the happy microphone button.
I think you muted yourself.
I did?
No,
Brandy.
not Brandy did.
Ruh-roh. It suddenly got quiet in here.
Oh, wow. We've been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes now. Good, or actually almost an hour and a half. So.
Yeah, I tried getting on my phone earlier when I was in my car, and my phone rebooted the instant my camera turned on. That's a bad sign.
Almost everyone I know has had some trouble with Hangouts, video Hangouts on their phone.
Yeah.
There's a few people I know that have been able to do it, but just about everyone has problems with it dropping. And I haven't had anyone else tell me that their phone rebooted, but it doesn't really surprise me either. So.
Yeah, and then it took me about 15 minutes to get on when I finally got on my computer because it told me I had to install a new version of the plugin. And when I tried to install a new version of the plugin, it gave me an error about not being able to uninstall the old versions. And so I tracked down a folder on my computer where all of the old versions installers were stored and went through one by one reinstalling them in order and finally managed to get back on. Good times. Technology.
That is a lot more effort to join us than I think I would have put into it. I'd have been like, oh, this isn't working, fuck it. First couple of Hangouts I did, I had some serious technical difficulties with the first couple. Thankfully, I'm not having that anymore.
I think she's bad-mouthing you. I can't tell, but...
Bacon and donuts.
Bacon and donuts. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but it sounds atrocious. Bacon and donuts. There's nothing good about that.
Party at TAM.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No.
Bacon and donuts party.
Yeah, no. I have no desire for bacon and donuts. Brandy, unmute yourself. I don't know how you did it, but you muted yourself.
Little red microphone icon thingy. I don't know. Or maybe everything's broken. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really go for the idea of mixing bacon. Oh! Whoa!
I hear you now. Welcome back.
Not anymore.
Oh, you were there briefly. You're just teasing us. Yeah, you're just doing it on purpose.
Yeah, well. Combination of bacon and
she gave us like the winning lottery numbers a minute ago. She's like, fuck you guys, I'm not going to tell you again now.
Yeah, she just told us where Jimmy Hoffa is buried.
That reminds me, there was this show on MTV years and years ago, and I don't remember anything about it except there was this just like 10-second clip what Jimmy Hoffa is doing right this minute, and then it showed a car going over a speed bump. It was so fun. It's garter snakes in power, they want to silence me. That's right.
Reminds me of I can't remember what it was, but there was a comic, some book of like Far Side style comics that I found. That was one of them was this like corpse with cobwebs on it leaning over a piano, and the caption was Beethoven decomposing.
Oh, I hear
hear her
now.
laughing. It's like her volume's turned all the way down.
Now,
Her recording volume.
say something now, Brandy. We heard you laugh.
Can I say something?
Yeah!
Woohoo!
Okay.
I think that's the first time anyone's asked me to unshut up. That's pretty good.
Unshut up. The technical writer in me wants to correct you, but
Just let it go, man.
not so much
Just let it go.
care.
Just let it go, man.
I assure you, all of my grammatical mistakes are made for comical effect only. I'm actually quite the grammarian. Thank you very much.
Me too.
Fabulous.
I do not end sentence with a preposition. I mean, what kind of state do you think I'm in? Crickets.
Have you guys seen the Grammar Nazis video?
No.
Okay, I'll post it on Google Plus after we're done here. Yeah, you'll get a kick out of that. If someone corrects me when I'm speaking like that, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm not making a speech to some high society. Just shut up. The truth will not be suppressed. Shut the fuck up. Whatever. I get made fun of at work for my vocabulary. Like I work around a bunch of programmers. Like, you would think everyone would understand what I was saying. I got made fun of recently for using the word disambiguation.
Wow.
So, I was like, do you people speak? I was like, do you people speak English? Like, this should not be unfamiliar to a developer. Like,
That's
my
nice,
God.
though.
You just reminded me of a video that I saw for the first time yesterday, even though it was 5 years old apparently. It's Verizon Math. I don't know. Have you heard of that one?
No.
No, but I like it already.
There's a guy who, I guess he normally has a Verizon plan, just unlimited data in the U.S., and he took a trip to Canada. And before he went to make sure he wasn't going to overpay for the data. And so he asked them how much it was going to cost, and it was going to be 0.002 cents per kilobyte for data in Canada. And he used only like 35-something megabytes of data total when he was there. But when he got back, he got a bill for about $71.89. And that's the same as $0.002 per kilobyte, which is 100 times what it should have been. And so he called up the Verizon hotline and apparently had to talk to like 4 or 5 different people for a span of over an hour, trying to explain to all of them that there's a difference between $0.002 and 0.002 cents, and none of them understood.
That was one of those
They
stories.
saw the number 0.002 and thought that meant that it was $0.002 because they didn't realize the whole concept of units.
I remember when I saw that, I don't think I saw the video. I saw it posted somewhere.
Some guy did a TED Talk where he had the clip.
Well, maybe that was where I saw them, because I remember that story and just thinking, is this really real? Like, this really happened that many people didn't understand that math?
It's kind of astonishing. But I guess he ended up sending his story to the Consumerist, and they followed up with Verizon, and there's a big hubbub about it. But that's kind of amazing. That he even went into detail and like said, so there's a difference between $1 and a cent. There's a difference between half a dollar and half a cent. And they were like, okay. So there's a difference between $0.002 and $0.002 cents, and there's like 30 seconds of silence. No.
Crickets.
I guess I know people that I guess I do know people that wouldn't know that. They'd be like, there's a difference there.
Mm.
Not everyone's great at that kind of math, I guess. At the very least, in that case, I was like, you have a computer, right?
There you go. That's the answer.
He had them type it in the computer. He had them pull up the calculator on the computer, type in .002 times the number of kilobytes, and then come up with a number. And then they would say that number in dollars instead of cents. And they didn't understand that there was a difference because they saw 71.89. They thought that was a number of dollars. They never convert from cents to dollars, and they didn't understand that was a problem.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm so glad I've never had to run into anybody like that yet.
I walked into a gospel bookstore when I was a teenager, and I asked them if they had the Tao Te Ching, and the girl behind the counter, without blinking, she says, "Is that new? Because if it is, we don't get new stuff right away."
Yeah, that's pretty new.
I wish I had made that up. I was like, well,
It's awesome.
all your gospel stuff is probably newer than that, I would imagine. I was trying not to be a bitch, but it was like, yeah, it was like, not so much new. I would say no,
That reminded me of a story when I was a kid. I used to love going to the library and the bookstore, and we would pass by the American Opinion bookstore all the time. And my
what
parents
is the American Opinion? Do tell.
We're going to get to that. And I would be like, hey, can we go to the bookstore? No, I can't go to the bookstore. And so I got a little bit older. I was probably around 11 to 13, and I was like, how come we've never gone to the American Opinion bookstore? My dad's like, yeah, that particular American Opinion is all about how Jews and black people are not as good as us. And I was like, oh.
Oh, it should be called the Fascist Opinion bookstore, the racist
I was just
opinion.
like, oh, I see.
The KKK bookstore in
Real
Oklahoma.
That's basically what it was.
Real Americans. You got to say it like that. American. I'm American.
What's crazy about that is like that's the only thing I've known of in this city that's like so blatantly racist. I mean, not to say there's no racism here. There's plenty of it, but like a store devoted to it like that. Like that's the only one I'm aware has been around in my lifetime here.
Yeah.
But I was just like, why can't we go to that bookstore? I want to go get a book.
That's
Like,
not
you don't need one of those books, son.
Those they'll give you for free. No, in Michigan, those are handed out like pamphlets at college.
Oh my God,
Oh,
you're almost kidding.
Yeah.
At the day after Obama's election back in 2008, in Midland, where I grew up, this Republican local county something board candidate came out and paraded around downtown in full Klan regalia.
I totally believe that. Michigan has a very nasty, racist, separatist, terrible vein, like Tim McVeigh kind of thumb activity. Yeah, he represents a lot of people, sadly.
And I'm kind of amazed that I never picked up on that growing up because I am half black and half white.
Yeah, no. They know to be ashamed of it, though. Most of the time, they keep it indoors. You know someone a long time before they drop the N-word. They know to be ashamed of it. Unlike here in Pittsburgh, where when I moved here, people said things like, oh, there's going to be a nigger in the White House. And I was sitting in a bar. I heard this, and I thought, oh, this guy's going to get punched in the face. And I heard it with my earbuds on. That's how bad it was. And I look, and nothing. Nothing. I was like, what year is this? Holy shit. I thought I was in the big city. I thought Michigan was bad. You have to know someone a long time before they say such a thing.
They're very genteel in their racism.
Yeah, they are, which I would prefer. They know to be ashamed of it. They should be ashamed of it. I prefer that to being able to say that in a bar in Pittsburgh, like in a big city. What the fuck?
Islam is a country and Jews worship Jesus.
Yeah, that was an Australian political candidate who thought that Islam was a country. She doesn't have a problem with Islam with a country, by the way. She thinks
that's nice of her, I guess.
She thinks that halal and haram are things that Jews follow.
Well, they kind of do.
Or I guess they're not under haram. They have their own religion, which follows Jesus Christ, she said.
Wow.
So.
halal and kosher are the same, or at least you're allowed to eat.
I didn't know Sarah
kosher.
Palin was running for office there.
Yeah,
They do have their own Sarah Palin, yeah.
Caribou Barbie is very popular down there. You just don't know.
Caribou Barbie. How have I never
loved
heard
her.
that? How have I never heard that before? Caribou Barbie.
Caribou Barbie. Yeah, I'm glad I could make you laugh for once. Not the other way.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's good. Yeah, Caribou Barbie.
That's two today. Panspermia and Caribou Barbie.
And Caribou
You were on a
Barbie.
fucking roll.
I wanted her to be elected only because, being from Northern Michigan, I can do a killer Sarah Palin accent. Killer. Like, it's dead on, because Northern Michigan, they sound like that. Or I used to sound like that, I'm sure. Say things like, oh, I'm just a hockey mom. Or Joe Sixpack. It's just Joe Sixpack. They just have this way of saying, like, oh, do you still work at Ford's? And they add S's to things that don't have S's. It's so funny.
That's what my grandmother would. For the longest time, I wrestled with her whether or not she intentionally mispronounced everything. Like Walmart was Walmart.
Walmart. Oh, Walmart.
With a K. And I was like,
will say Walmart. She's from Paradise, Michigan. Paradise. It's cold as tits there most of the time.
yeah, there were plenty of words
13 feet.
had an extra letter. You know, they were pluralized, or just one letter was replaced with another. And I was like, is that some kind of illiteracy, or is she do that on purpose, or what is that?
It's very dialectic, yeah.
Yeah, Northern Michigan dialect.
My dad's from Kentucky, and he always says "warsh."
I was gonna say worse. That's something Bill Moyers. I love him, but he says worse, and I'm like, did you just say worse?
Just for future reference, if I ever say "warsh" something,
I'll slap the shit out of you.
Well, I'm saying it on purpose. I'm saying it for effect, just so you know.
But it's reflexive.
I will wash your mouth out.
I will wash your mouth. Exactly. Filthy, filthy worse user.
I'm told I don't have a discernible accent, so I think I'm okay with that.
You don't? No. But if you'd have heard me when I lived in Michigan, oh my God.
Because I don't want to come across one of these Yokies, y'all, you know, because a lot of us over here, we talk like this, and I just don't want to sound like that. That's how it is, see.
When I moved to Virginia and grown-ups said daddy.
Get rid of that accent.
I never had it. Thankfully,
it's not
I never
particularly attractive, if I may say so myself. I'm a bit prejudiced, however.
Well, if you don't like it, you can just get out.
Go back to Canada.
My ex-boyfriend was from West Virginia.
Get out.
The ex used to say, he was from West Virginia, and he would say, yep, you'll have that. I would tell him something terrible had happened, like this thing about Obama. Somebody said at the bar, and he'd be like, yep, you'll have that. I'm like, I just want to choke the shit out of you. I just want to choke the shit out of you.
Well, that's one thing, like idioms. I will use idioms that are common here, but I will use idioms that are common elsewhere. Like, if it's an idiom I've heard, I will incorporate it in my language. If it is in my vocabulary to be used at some point. So.
I do like yins. Yins is great.
Yins?
Yeah, instead of y'all, we'll be like, so, what time yins get here? You know, like, yeah, use it instead of y'all, because there's not a nice way to say you people, so they have this thing that...
Whoa, what do you mean, you people?
Yeah, it means you people, you group of people I'm referring to. What time are yins going up to the game, the Stillers game? What time are you going to the Stillers game? Stillers, S-T-I-L-L-E-R-S, yeah, Stillers. How about them Stillers?
If I can't afford it, I guess I'm going to steal it.
Yins.
Terrible.
See, now I've never heard yins before.
Oh, yins is great. It means
either.
you ones. It's a like, you know, you ones. It's a combination. You ones. Yins.
It's almost like a posh British version of y'all.
Mm-hmm. It is. It literally is. If you look it up, I think that's where it came from. It's definitely old school English. Like, I think it has something to do with the Amish.
One of my good gaming friends is a guy he's originally from Alabama, but he's lived in Mississippi the majority of his life, and it's just so much fun talking to him. The shit he'll say.
Shit hillbilly say. That would be a funny YouTube.
It's not even like
shit black girls say. That would be like shit hillbilly say. That would be such a funny.
Hey,
YouTube
Ma,
series.
did y'all get that Mountain Dew for the baby?
You got a pretty mouth.
Pappy the pig done got loose again.
I couldn't get over when I lived in Virginia that grown-ups would say daddy. Like, grown men would be like, oh, we're going up to my daddy's place. Like, that is baby talk. Did you just say daddy?
Are we talking like leather daddy? Or
no, we're talking regular guys in regular conversation. Daddy. Weird.
In the early 20th century, that was a common term, even in England, for someone's father, I think. Was called, I'm pretty sure.
Daddy.
At least in some parts of that society, I'm pretty sure.
In the porn that you read, I'm sure, but that doesn't mean it's historically accurate. Come on now.
Miss Veronica Witherspoon.
I told you about that.
Oh, we have TeamViewer. I know all about what's on your computer. We share computers now.
God.
I swear that's what you said. I was like,
I see
what?
what you look at, and you should be ashamed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you should be very ashamed. None of it is tits and glitter. It's way worse than that.
If you said it to me, I'd just be like, meh.
Yeah.
If you know what I've been looking at, then you were looking at it too.
And I was looking at it and going, It's old British. You know, everybody's wearing those long dresses. It's really not pornographic at all.
This is very racy. What happens? Well, here in a minute, she'll expose her wrist. Calm
Yeah,
down.
exactly. That's like Afghan porn. She exposes an ankle. Keep watching. Keep watching. Two girls, one ankle. You know.
We got all excited. Then what happened? They took her outside and stoned her. It's like,
She got stoned, but not in the fun way. I totally misunderstood that whole rule when I got there. But unruly women must be stoned. Like, indeed, I second that motion. Why do people have a problem with this?
It is wrinkles.
all right, well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up now.
Says you.
If I can talk, well, at least the broadcast part. We can keep chatting.
This
but
is live?
oh yeah, this has been live for a while, so.
It's recording? It records?
This is.
I'm
We're on live. I don't believe you.
I'm not
That's
real.
what the
You guys are
snakes
being
want you to
catfished.
think.
That's what this. Exactly. There you go. Exactly.
So whoever our one viewer was earlier, thank you for putting up with us. And if you watch this later and you've made it this far, I'm sorry.
I'm very sorry.
I owe you a drink at least. At least.
Send me an email or a message, and I'll profusely apologize, and yeah, we'll pitch in together and buy you a 6-pack so you can wash away your sorrows.
And if you catch a tumor from all of my smoking, I do apologize. Google Hangouts is a smoking section.